Okay.
All right, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here today. We're excited to share a very exciting project with you, and we have a guest here that's going to be sharing his experience and answering a lot of questions so that we have the full picture of what this project's all about and how we can all benefit from it. So Mitchell, my name's Amy, I should say, and Val Sunshine is my partner. We've been doing projects together for about 5 years now. And we love finding projects like this that are sustainable and like really great to bring to our community. So without further ado, I'm going to let Mitch. Mitch has been in this project for what, 3, 4 months now?
4 months. Yeah.
Okay, 4 months. And so he's going to share his experience so far and all his wealth of knowledge that he has on this project. So go ahead, Mitch, tell us all.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I always like by saying I understand that time is valuable. My one commitment to you is I won't waste yours. So we'll share some really valuable information, some life-changing information, in my opinion, and then we'll have you guys out of here. So my name is Mitchell Tucker, and to be honest, guys, this isn't my wheelhouse. This isn't what I have ever done for a living. I was a cop. I was a cop at 19 years old. I can't believe someone hired me and gave me a gun, but they did. And I enjoyed it. I did it for about 13 years. My last 2 years, I worked undercover narcotics and robberies. Um, but I love crypto, right? And even though my wheelhouse isn't affiliate marketing or direct sales or anything like that, I have had a lot of success in crypto. And I do apologize. I'm going to plug in my computer before it dies as I talk here. But because I love crypto so much, I get that call all the time, like once a week. Mitchell, what's the next crypto that's going to pop? Or every single crypto opportunity that comes out, I hear about it because everyone that knows me knows I love crypto. And that happened to me about 4 months ago. My uncle, my uncle called me and said, Mitchell, what do you think of Texit? And I said, what's a Texit? I had no idea what he was talking about. And he said, it's a cryptocurrency. And I said, well, I'm going to have to do some research. I can't answer you now because I've never heard of it. And it was, he started to explain it to me. And the way it was initially explained to me is he said, you remember back when Biden was president and Texas was talking about seceding? I said, of course. He said, well, during that time, there was a guy named Bobby Gray, and Bobby Gray created a cryptocurrency called Texit. The idea behind Texit is if and when Texas ever did secede from the Union, it would become Texas's currency. Now, I have to be honest with you. When he said that, I about laughed him off the phone. I said, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life, right? I like the idea. I like the project. I can get behind it. I think it's cool, pro freedom, whatever. But the odds of Texas seceding, in my opinion, are pretty slim. And in my mind, if the coin is tied to Texas seceding and Texas never secedes, then the coin's never going to go up in value. And I think that is a pretty logical thing to think, right? So when my uncle told me about Texas coin, it was at 16 cents. About 4 or 5 days go by, and I log into one of my crypto exchanges. I'm making some purchases, moving some crypto around, and I think of this coin. And like I said, when he told me 16 cents was all-time high and had just recently hit that number, I thought to myself, it's coming back down. So when I think of this coin, there was some ill intent. I go pull up Texas coin, and my plan was to take a photo showing that it crashed or went back down and send it to my uncle and say, I told you so. Right? That was my plan. And when I logged in, it had gone from 16 cents to 21 cents. And 16 to 21, that kind of fluctuation in the crypto market's nothing to write home about. If you know anything about crypto, seeing fluctuations like that are pretty common, but it did two things for me. One, it was a fluctuation in a different direction than I thought, right? I didn't think it was going up. And two, um, some of my biggest wins have been in small fluctuations like that, right? If you had millions of coins and you get a 5 to 10 cent fluctuation, that's a payday, right? So I thought to myself, maybe I don't know everything, and maybe I need to look into this coin a little bit more. So the first thing I did was I went to CoinMarketCap. If you're not familiar with CoinMarketCap.com, it's third party, has nothing to do with Texacoin, been around way before Texacoin was ever even thought of. And you can track all different kinds of cryptos there. So I go to CoinMarketCap and I type in Texacoin. And the first thing I noticed was that the top right-hand side at the time had it rated at 98% bullish. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen.
Oh,
I just sent a request. Um, it had 98% bullish with over 1,100 votes. Y'all can see my screen now.
yep.
So if you see over here in the top right-hand corner, 1.7 1,700 votes, and we're at 94% bullish, right? This is a great signal of a coin that's got some health behind it. People are excited about it. Bullish meaning people want more of it, bearish meaning people want to get rid of it. So I saw this and I never expected that. So I thought, "Oh, okay, that looks pretty good." And then I went over here and I clicked 1 year and I looked at the chart. And what I saw was nice, healthy, steady growth, right? I mean, this is really, really healthy, really, really good growth. Now, everyone wants to invest in that coin at 3 cents and watch it shoot to $30 the next day, but that's not sustainable. And as fast as it went up, it's going to come back down. If you're not real quick to sell, you're going to lose all your money. So when I saw this and I saw nice, healthy, steady growth, didn't expect that either. The next thing I wanted to look into was liquidity. Does the company have the liquidity to maintain the price of the coin? And when I get ready to sell my coin, am I going to be able to sell it? Because if you have, say, a dozen coins, right, and every single coin is worth $1 billion, but you can't sell it, is it really worth anything? It's not worth anything, right? So liquidity is important so that you can always be certain whenever you're ready to sell, you can click a button and you can sell your coins. And the company had the liquidity. So I told you I was a cop for 13 years. So I'm a pretty skeptical person. I'm not proud of that. It's something I need to work on. But when I saw how good the coin was looking, I thought to myself, okay, who's this Bobby Gray guy? He's got to be a con artist, right? I guarantee he's a rug puller. He's some kind of crypto scammer. So I started doing my research and I'm diving deep into Bobby Gray. And the more and more I dig on Bobby Gray, the more impressive he becomes. I find out that he actually testified in front of United States Congress on alternative currencies in front of one of my heroes, Ron Paul, 10 years ago. I found out that he was the very first person ever to create the physical Bitcoin. He had a lot of success in the precious metal space. The guy was just very, very impressive. And I couldn't find really anything negative about him. So I called my uncle up and I said, you know what? I might have made a mistake. I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger and start mining this Texit coin. So I get involved, and for 27 days, I don't tell a single soul. I am producing the crypto every single night. Um, Without fail, the crypto is coming in, and I'm keeping my mouth shut because I was scared. I didn't have my faith wasn't in it at first, right? I wanted to make sure that everything works. So when the crypto comes in, I'm selling the crypto, I'm exchanging the crypto, I'm doing everything you can to try and break this system to see what's the gotcha. And for 27 days, it didn't let me down. So on the 27th day mark, we had gone from 21 cents to, it was around 35, 37 cents a coin. And I heard Bobby Gray say something. He said, we're on track to hit $16.46 by February next year. And I thought to myself, if I don't share this with my mom and my brothers come February, they're not gonna be happy with me, right? They're gonna be pretty ticked off. But if I share it with them and you know they say I'm not interested, then that's on them. They can't be mad at me. So at the time, I'm doing 15 to 20 coins a night, every single night. Um, I got a couple different accounts, but you can see with this one, um, you can see every single day. You can still see my screen, right? The new screen.
Yep.
Okay. So you can see every single day that the coins come in, and this is how many coins I'm earning every single day on this one. And but at the time, I was doing 15 to 20 coins a night, and I thought to myself, okay, 15 to 20 coins a night, 340 nights till February, times $16.46. That's a lot of money, right? So I share it with my mom, my brother, my barber, my neighbor, and a good friend of mine, completely organically, not really knowing the incentive to doing so. I just wanted to share it with other people that I wanted to bless and help out, right? So something incredible will happen that night. Every night before I go to bed, I always check my phone to see how much crypto my miner produced. It's like my new addiction. And right before I go to bed, I pull it up and I look at it. And instead of 15 to 20 coins, I got 67 coins that night. And I called my uncle up and I said, did your miner just spit out a bunch more crypto than normal? And he said, no, why? And I told him what happened. He said, well, yeah, for every three people you share it with, they give you two free miners. I had no clue. So now I'm doing the math, 67 coins a night, 340 nights till February times $16.46, and 46 cents, and that number just got a lot bigger. So I go from pretty tired to wanting to get on my roof and start screaming at my neighbors, right? Like I want to tell everybody about this. Um, Now, what the incredible thing is the fact that all those coins that you're producing, all those coins I was producing back then at 21 cents and 35 cents and 37 cents, they're the same exact coin that is now worth a dollar, right? So absolutely incredible on the mining side of things. Amy, I didn't know if you want to keep going with the rest of that story there, if you want to stop here for a second.
Yeah, actually, I have some questions. So, what makes us so sure or so confident that the coin is going to be worth $16 by February?
A lot of really exciting things that go into place there. So I've been involved in other crypto projects. I'm sure if you guys have been around this space long enough, I know you have, but if the other people listening have been around this space long enough, you've been into crypto projects that ended up being rug pulls or different various things where you lost money, right? Um, I was involved in one years back, and I said, never again am I doing another crypto project. I love crypto, but crypto projects per se, I'm staying out of. But when it came across Texit Coin, it checked all the boxes because if I look back on all the different ways I've lost money in crypto, and I've talked to a lot of people now, and I figure out, how'd you lose money in the past in crypto? They always fall into three categories. Either A, they're investing in a coin that doesn't actually exist, but it is coming one day, right? Texas coin already exists, so we check that box. Um, they invested into a coin that was pre-mined coins and ended up becoming a rug pull. And what I mean by that is you have the creator of the coin that has billions and billions of coins, and then he launches to the market. The price goes up. He sells his billions of dollars of billions of coins, and it completely tanks it, right? With Texit coin, there was not one single coin ever on the market until the very first miner got plugged in. Now there's over 6,000 people mining Texit coin, and it's growing by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds every week, right? So there's so many people mining Texacoin, and it is so spread out that the risk of a rug pull has diminished to nothing hardly, right? Because not one person or even a group of people have enough coins to sell to crash the market. The third way people lose money is when you give your crypto to someone and they're trading on your behalf or they're doing something with your crypto to get a percentage and they're giving a percentage back to you of the winnings. Those are the three ways people lose money in crypto. I have never heard someone come up to me and say, I lost money in crypto and they didn't fall into one of those three categories ever. Other than obviously investing in a coin and the value of the coin went down. That's a whole nother story. But in crypto projects, those are the way people lose money. And when I saw Texit Coin and I saw that it checked all three of those boxes, that's what really got me excited about Texacoin. So why are we so confident in that price? Well, I love the fact that Texacoin is already on the market. There's tons and tons of people buying and selling Texacoin that may not even understand that this opportunity exists, right? They just see it on the market, they see what it's doing, they see the growth that it's had, and they look at it as a potential opportunity, and they buy Texacoin, right, as an investment. They don't even know that they could mine the thing. So it's already on the market. So we're taking data from the open market and we already know what our supply is. The mine's never going to produce more. It's never going to produce less. It's set, right? We already know what our supply is. So the only thing that could change is the demand. So we're saying $16.46 by February based on our demand growing at the same current rate that it's growing because the mine capacity is never going to change. And maybe you guys are tired of me using this analogy, but I love it. The Coca-Cola analogy. It just makes sense, especially for people who aren't into crypto. If so, you'll have to bear through it one more time. But if you go to buy a can of Coke anywhere, right, you can go to any store on any corner and you can buy a can of Coke for $1.50, right? And that's because the demand meets the supply, or the supply meets the demand, right? There's cans of Coke everywhere. But if you were to take every can of Coke off the world, except for one can of Coke, it would probably sell on eBay for millions and millions of dollars. I wouldn't buy it, but someone out there would buy that last can of Coke for millions and millions of dollars. That's because the demand has way outpaced the supply, right? Well, with Texacoin, we already know what the supply is. That's not going to change. So the only thing that could change is the demand. So as the demand climbs for the coin, the value will climb. So that's where we get that price point of 1646.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And you touched a little bit on like how there's nobody owns enough of the coin to manipulate the price. Can you just explain that just a little bit more?
Yeah. So, like I said, there was no pre-mined coins, which means not one single Texit coin ever existed until the miner was plugged into the wall, got juice running through it, and the miners went to work and started working. Basically, what a miner is, if there's someone here that's not familiar, it's basically a fancy computer that solves mathematical problems, and every time it solves a mathematical problem, it produces a Texit coin, right? Then that Texit coin that is produced by the mine is distributed evenly amongst all the miners of Texacoin, you and I. So in order for there to be a rug pull, a group of people have to have the majority of the coins in their possession. They sell the majority of the coins, and then it would tank the price because they have, the majority of them, right? And then we're stuck holding a bag full of useless coins. Well, because there was no pre-mined coins, not one single person has enough to tank the market. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah, so
Yes.
can you explain a little bit too about like Bitcoin and how this is more of a decentralized coin for the people, by the people?
Yeah. And that's when I get real passionate about. I love that. So, like I said, I'm a huge crypto guy, and most crypto people I think would agree with me if you were to ask me, what do you think the purpose of crypto was? Like, why was crypto ever invented? My uh, my opinion, it was created for free money. Now, I don't mean free money like give me free money. It was the first time since our great great ancestors were trading chunks of gold and silver that we had money that was not tied to one of the big three: big government, big corporations, and big banks. Every other currency in the world, other than precious metal and crypto, is tied to one of those three, right? And anyone who disagrees, I tell them to try and get on an airplane with $1 million in cash in a duffel bag. It's not going to work. You're going to lose that cash, right? Or try to send a couple $1 million to some obscure country in Texas without giving a valid reason. You're going to get a knock on your door. Why? Because it's not free money. It's not yours. You're just borrowing it, right? Now, with cryptocurrency, I could get on a plane with $4 billion right here on my cell phone, and it's nobody's business but my own. I have no intentions on sending millions of dollars to obscure countries in Africa, but if I wanted to and I had the ability, I could send millions and millions of dollars with a click of a button all the way across the world for very, very cheap, and it's nobody's business but mine, right? Because it is truly free money. No one owns it but me. And we had that with crypto. We had that with Bitcoin. And we slowly bowed down and gave it all back. If you look at the top owner of Bitcoin now, it's BlackRock. I don't know if you're familiar with BlackRock, but do your research. I'm not their biggest fan. And if you look at XRP, that's one that everyone's raving about. Get your hands on some more XRP. I'm not going to say it's a bad investment. I'm not. I got XRP. But if I'm going to be honest, it's literally the one of the worst of them as far as literally all three big banks and big corporations started it, and then big government kind of just threw them on up there and helped them out. So you got all three involved in that. What Texas Coin is doing, it's taking crypto back to its roots. It's saying, look, this started off as free money. We bowed down and gave it back. We're taking crypto back to its roots. It was completely financed by we the people. Not one penny was ever taken from a bank. And it's truly free money. It's we the people money. And there's a commitment there to never bow down to the big banks, big government, big corporations, and make sure that it stays that way.
I love that. I love that
Mitchell,
so
could
much.
you speak a little bit, like while we were just talking a moment ago, about kind of limiting anybody coming in and trying to take over the project, how they limit it with the miners or the
Yeah,
nine?
that's a really cool point. Um, when I got in, I asked about, how many miners can you buy, and they said that the most you can buy is 9 miners. Now, if you do that, there's always an incentive. Now they have, if you buy 9, they'll give you 2 free, so you can have 11 miners. But that's as most as you can ever buy. And I thought I knew the answer, but I wanted to ask just in case. And they gave me the perfect answer I was looking for. They said, well, we don't want someone coming in with hundreds of thousands of dollars, buying up a bunch of the mine, and then being able to control the market because they're getting so much crypto that in 6 months from now, they do have a majority, right? Now you can earn unlimited. What's the difference? Well, if you're earning it as you're telling people, you're still spreading out those miners, right? But if you just were to go in and you bought $400,000 worth of miners, you would own the majority of the mine. But by getting free miners when you share it, you're still spreading it out every time you open your mouth about it. So you're not accumulating without spreading the knowledge of Texit coin. So that's what I love about it. People said, well, how do you know it's not a scam? Well, if you owned and operated some kind of scam, would you limit the amount of miners someone could buy?
Yeah, no.
Probably
No.
wouldn't, right? I mean, I have no intentions on operating a scam, but if I did, I wouldn't say you can only give me so much money. I'd say give me as much as you want. Right?
Right.
So that was pretty awesome. I think that was a great way of making sure that no one takes the majority of the mine.
Love
And to
that.
roll kind of back into what you were just talking about with utilizing it as free money within the, the network of the people. Can we talk a little bit about how it's being used and where it's being shared, like with the downtown dollars and the billboards and things like that?
Yeah, a lot of exciting things in the works and currently happening. We have over 80 billboards in Texas. We're in the Dallas airport and I believe the Austin airport on all the screens in the airport are advertisement. Now, as far as different places it's being used, there's tons of mom and pop shops all throughout Texas, mainly in McKinney, that are using it, pizza restaurants and different things in the community. And we are working now with the city of McKinney um, to incorporate Texit into their app called Downtown Dollars. Now, all the details are still, I don't have all the details, but McKinney has this mobile app called Downtown Dollars. And if you live in the city of McKinney, you can preload this mobile app and you can do tap to pay in different stores in the city of McKinney. Now, the benefit to that is you get, I think it's like 10% cash back and you get discounts on different things and stuff like that. And it's really a genius model because what it does is it encourages the local economy and money to stay inside your local economy, to recirculate within the economy, the local economy versus going out of the city. So that's kind of the idea behind Downtown Dollars. Well, we're working with them and the DTA Downtown Association to where Texit coin will actually be the currency that's used in downtown dollars. So every time someone purchases or preloads or taps to pay inside of a store, they'll actually be buying and selling Texit coin on every single transaction, which is very, very exciting. Where it gets even more
Oh,
exciting is the fact that McKinney is kind of like they set the standard for DTA, Downtown Association, and there's 800 cities in Downtown Association. So the hopes and
mm.
dreams are that, McKinney gets on board, we get this wrapped up, and then slowly but surely all 799 cities in the Downtown Association jump on board, and we'll have 800 cities using it for their downtown dollars.
Ooh, yeah, that's good. So let's talk a little bit about liquidity, okay? Because liquidity is basically the ability to buy and sell and turn it into money, right? So it's for those that don't understand what liquidity is, that's basically what it is. So how much liquidity does it have, this coin, and where is it stored?
So there is a very little liquidity stored on the exchanges. Um, don't quote me, but I want to say somewhere around $60,000 worth of liquidity on the exchanges. And people are like, well, that's not a lot of liquidity. It's not. It's not. But Bobby doesn't keep it on there for a reason, right? If you jump on Google and just type in Coinbase hack, Dextrade hack, all these exchanges are getting hacked at all the time. So if we put all the liquidity on the exchanges and we become victim of one of those hacks, we're going to be in a very, very bad position, right? So what Bobby does is he puts the liquidity on a cold storage wallet, and then he gives the address to the world and says, check our liquidity. You can see how much is in there. And there's I think a little over $500,000 in the cold storage coin that Bobby has given everyone access to view, and the transparency is absolutely phenomenal, right? And then, like I said, there's like 60K or something on the exchanges just to maintain the buy and sell orders that are happening daily on there.
Awesome. I love that. And while we're talking about the cold storage wallet, can you talk a little bit about where our mining coins go?
Yeah. So I got them. I actually have a bunch of them right here. So these are
I
quartz.
got mine right here.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I
So
got
these
all
are all
mine.
quartz coins. Let me turn off this background thing. And these are really cool because if you apparently I don't know how to use this thing. If you if you know anything about crypto, you've been around it long enough, you've heard crypto exchanges being hacked. You've heard about people losing their money. So there's a couple different ways to store your crypto. There's three. The worst way ever is to keep it on an exchange. You never want to keep your money on an exchange. Use the exchange to on-ramp and off-ramp. To buy your crypto using cash, you would use an exchange for that. Once you sell your crypto to send your money to a bank, you would use an exchange for that. Other than that, keep your crypto off exchanges. The second best thing to do is to put it into a wallet, like a hot wallet, like MetaMask or Exodus, right? These are good wallets. There's really nothing wrong with it. But the safest way to do it is to store it on a physical device like this off of the internet. So every night between 8 and 9 p.m. when my miner produces, it sends my crypto digitally, like kind of like a wire transfer from a bank, from the miner in Texas onto this physical device. Then you can scan the back of that device, that QR code, and you can monitor how much crypto is in there. And I can give anyone that code. And that's the code Bobby gave everybody for the liquidity coin. All that code does is allow you to view to see how much money's on here. Now, when I want to take the money off, if I want to sell the crypto, if I want to exchange it for a different crypto, I would peel that sticker off. That's just a sticker. And there's a laser engraved code on the back of this coin. This is a pure copper coin. Laser engraved code. That code you would scan, and then your wallet becomes a hot wallet. So it goes from cold to hot, and you're able to then sell your coins or move your coins around or do anything you want to do with your coins. But the good thing about having it on a physical device is absolutely nobody can touch your crypto unless they have this. So you get this in the mail, you throw it in the safe, throw it in the sock drawer, throw it somewhere where you're not going to forget it, and but you know it's safe, and just let the coin go up in value. Then when you get ready, you pull this thing out, you scan the back, and you rock it and rolling. Can sell some Texit coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Uh,
not something that you have to, wait 6 months or wait until February when it goes up to $16. I mean, I have been receiving for the past, a little over a week every single day. I'm going on about a little over 10 days, I think. And, it goes to my coin. So if I wanted to take it immediately, I could. The commissions that I've made to go on the one coin, they mail them both in the mail, and I've already sent that over to my wallet and cashed it out. So, yeah, I love having the cold wallet storage, just like mine. Nobody else on the planet has access to this. There's no forgot password. There's nobody that I can
Yeah,
link up with and say, hey, can you check my balance or any? Nope, it's just me and me alone. And I love that Bobby's created this and mails this out. I was very impressed with the package when I opened it. I thought it was just going to get a coin. And then I opened, I'm like, wow, this is
yeah,
impressive. They really
very
put a lot
beautiful.
of heart into what we're doing. So.
yeah, I'm still waiting for mine. I'm in Canada, so it might take a little bit longer, but hopefully it's on its way. Yeah,
Mitchell,
that's
can you
great.
talk about the facilities, in where we are with the miners and what's coming that from that with the growth of the coin and the facilities expansion?
Yeah. So the main facility is McKinney, Texas. Like I said, I'll be leaving tomorrow at 4 to head that way. And I'll be sure to take lots of photos and videos for you guys while I'm there. I'm really excited. But they're
Cool.
AC computers, and Bobby's idea is to here in the next stage is we're going to get miners out to individual houses as well in Texas, right? But we have three different mining facilities that we're looking, two others that we're looking to get online. Like I said, the main facility is McKinney. We're wanting to diversify, plus get these smaller miners out into people's houses, and that way it kind of spreads it out in case there's an incident that happens in McKinney. Heaven forbid a tornado comes through. We have other facilities up and running in different houses, all spread throughout Texas. So it's although it's semi-centralized in Texas, it would be decentralized throughout the entire state, right? Different power grids and things like that. So that's the next stage of the mining facilities.
Could you give just a quick overview on your first page there in the back office of the transparency on how we can see how many miners there are, where we are in the world with it, how much they're spending on electricity? Like I love the transparency of the project as well. I love the Telegram group that is just loaded with all of the Texit members coming together, showing where they're accepting it. People are making jewelry. People are wrapping their campers and RVs and trucks. And I saw there's now billboards in Louisiana that people have shown. Billboards driving up and down the Vegas Strip. People are proud. I know Texas people love Texas, but this is global.
Right. You can see the dashboard, right?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So this is really awesome stuff because there is literally nothing left to the imagination. Bobby shows you everything on the back end, the use of funds here, right? You can see exactly the kind of money that's coming in, how much is going out in approved commissions, pending commissions, uh, what he's paying in advertisement, $482,000 in advertisement, um, different promotions that get ran, new equipment that he's purchasing for the mine, the amount of money that he's put into the liquidity this month, um, facilities, which is, I guess, electric bills and different things to run the mines. Integrations, right? Everyone's excited about that, helping us onboard easily or more easy, helping with some automation, transaction processing. Every single thing is broken down and you can see where every single penny goes. And not only do we show it here on the desktop, but Bobby talks about it in the Zooms. He's really transparent in the Zooms. On Tuesday night, we have a Zoom for existing miners where you can get in, you can hear about the predictions of where we're heading and different things that's happening and where Texit Coin is being onboarded in other places. And it's very exciting, the different things that are happening.
And
We have
that's
the
right
miners.
with Bobby. Bobby is very front facing and forward facing in what we have. He's not
Yeah,
just in the background, I've gotten emails from him, Amy's had, conversations with him. He's very accessible. I love having the support of so many people right at our fingertips. It's very impressive.
it's a very passionate community. Everyone's super excited. Everybody likes helping everybody out. So it's really cool to be part of that. Currently, we have 6,374 people mining. You can see that number there too. This chart here is really cool. This shows the revenue and commissions. So obviously the revenue is in this yellow here, and then you can see the commissions, how it's tracking, showing that Texit Coin, although they are very generous, and I've done very, very well, and a lot of people have done very, very well. I think I think Amy and Val have benefited from their generosity quite well as well. Um, the company is still very, very profitable if you see these numbers, which is
Yeah.
exciting. That shows you that the company is healthy. We don't have to worry about them going anywhere anytime soon. Super exciting.
I just
So
want to roll
actually,
off of that right there. For a lot of people, when they come into a project, they always think, do I have to share this to make money? And I want to make sure that everybody is aware this is passive with an option. It's kind of that word of mouth from the community where the community is basically saying, hey, thanks for sharing this. But it's not like in a traditional network marketing MLM or anything like that, to where you can rank up and get higher and higher and higher. Everybody's on the same playing field here, and it is 100% optional on whether or not you want to share it. And we can talk about, doing the pay if it is something that you want to share, for those that are interested on another Zoom. But I just want to make sure everybody understands this is passive. You are making money while you sleep.
yeah,
Right. And Val, that's such a good point because, I would say over 80% of the people that I've shared Texacoin with have not told a single soul. And they thank me all the time for sharing it with them because they're still winning. They haven't told anybody and they're still winning because it is completely passive. You get the miner produces whether you tell anyone or not. Now, if you don't do tell people, you're going to get more coin, right? But if you don't, it will sit back and do its thing and you're going to win. So super exciting to be able to be part of something to where you don't have to feel like you got to tell other people about it.
yeah.
Passive.
Can you show the calculator?
Yeah. So here we got the calculator. And what this does is this shows us if you were to buy one miner, two miner, three miner, whatever, being the most you could buy 9 miners. Um, and our price projection is $16 by February. What would it be? So if you were to buy one miner today, you did not tell a single soul, and we hit our price prediction of 16 bucks. Your one-time investment at 9.95, we're speculating would be worth $7,174.
Yeah.
Now,
So
what I love about, if you do decide to share it, what I love about that is for every three people you share it with, they give you two free miners, right? So you take that number, right? 7,174, you get two free miners, you're now at three. Watch what happens to that number just by telling three people, right? We change it to three miners and it goes from 7,174 to 21,522 for telling three people.
Awesome.
Um, you tell three more people, 43,045. So super exciting. And then you can see the potential here. 78,000, yeah, 78,000 915, right? And you could what's
Yeah,
that?
and for those that don't want to share it, you can just buy the miners. You don't have to share it with three people to get the extra miners. You can just
Yeah,
buy whatever amount of miners you want.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And sorry, you were saying? Cut you off.
No, I mean that was it. Like you have two options. You can buy just one single miner and you can work your way up to those 12 miners for free if you just share it with, a handful of people. Or if you don't feel like sharing it with anyone, don't. And just buy the miners that you want and sit back and collect. I love it.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I feel like you have answered all of my questions. Actually, I have one more. How old is Texit Coin? When did it debut?
November of last year.
Okay, so November 2024.
Yeah.
All right, good to know.
And
Awesome.
it didn't start out with the sharing side. It was not created for an affiliate side. Let's get people, sharing it. It's community based, for the state of Texas, which is now global. And I've seen so much in our Telegram group from people all over the world. There's so much love that's being poured into it. I am over the moon excited that we took a look at this. Amy and I were texting each other during our first Zoom going, oh my God, this looks so good. Like, how do we say no to this? And we've asked a lot of hard questions. We've had a lot of one-on-ones with Mitchell, and we've had other people from our community come in and ask their questions and, be very aggressive in wanting to know all these things. So any questions, that anybody has, we're open to answering them. We can always reach out to Mitchell or even Bobby. And we do have those weekly calls with Bobby, and he opens it up and he will answer questions until there aren't any more. So, nobody's left wondering, man, I never got an answer to that. You will get answers here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I feel like all my questions are answered, and I'm excited for you to go to Texas and see all the pictures and hear the stories about how it is there. And yeah, thank you so much, Mitchell, for being here and sharing
You're
all
very
this.
welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks,
All right.
Mitchell. Thanks everybody for being here. We'll go ahead and stop it here, and
Okay.
then we can open